happy to introduce myself. I'm the daughter of Newburgh's Poet Laureate.
A little louder.
My name is Cybele, and my mom has invited me, and she said I must share something, not just come and listen. So it's my honor to do so with your kind permission. I will sing one of my own songs, and after that I will tell about my life and my project in Korea, which is to spread peace in the world through music and to bring light, which we all need. This is a song that I wrote a few years ago. It's called The Room.
Sometimes I go there just to be still, feel what's arising in me. And sometimes I go there to pray that whatever is happening, it's okay. Come with me into the well, where we can draw from the source, drink from the water of life, nourish our own special light that's more beautiful than we know, more beautiful than we know. Come with me into the sky, where nothing is stopping me. I feel as free as the birds as they fly, 'cause they never stop to ask why. Come with me into the light, where everyone can see who we are inside. 'Cause there is no reason to hide. We will find a way to love and to not run away. Come with me into the room, where my heart's beating only for you. Feel what it's like to hold you. Feel what I feel just
your request, I will so gladly speak about Korea and something that I have created there. I went to Korea in 2002 to teach music at an academy. And within 6 months, as the job was not teaching music, it was teaching English, I ran away and went to teach at a university in a small town, very beautiful, with apple orchards and rice fields, called Chungju. And I later found out that it was the home of the founding father of Korean music in the 5th century, Master Uruk. He was exiled to Chungju, and he was given the job by the emperor to create music to unify the 3 kingdoms of Korea. So I realized, oh, I have come to a very special place, and it's not a coincidence. Maybe Master drew me there. In about 2004, I was looking for somewhere to live and went riding through the fields. And my friend said, hey, you've got to see this house. And we went through the prickers, and there was this hidden house at the foot of a mountain. Traditional style with tile roof, wooden beams and mud walls. And I walked through the main gate into the courtyard, and I saw a stage. And even though it was all grown, completely abandoned, I could imagine traditional Korean music played in the traditional house, and people sitting in the garden and really experiencing deeply what is Korean traditional music. Modern K-pop is so far away from traditional music that it's very hard for Korean people, especially younger people, to understand what is their traditional music. But in the setting, it really makes sense. So I started this dream, and I met with architects in Seoul, and I sketched out what I wanted to do to restore it, and found out what it would cost. Of course, it was so beyond my limit or what I had. And I met with the owner of the land, who said he was willing to sell it to me. The community had actually used the house for ancestor worship, so the whole community is very common. On the date of death of a family member, the family comes together, offers some food and some prayers. So this house had been used for that purpose. Anyways, I couldn't afford this project. I didn't know how to get the money. I said, okay, it's been a beautiful time in Korea for 3 years, and I'm going back to New York. And I lived in Manhattan for a couple of years. I went back to school. But I kept thinking, like, oh, this house, what can I do? And I had finished my course, and suddenly I felt I had to go back. And I had a temporary job for 10 weeks, and my old job at the university opened up, and I said, this is a sign. I must find a way to restore this house and make it into a music stage. And the land was still available. I saved my money and saved my money, and went to the owner. I said, okay, 8 years ago you said you would sell me this land at this price, and I now have that amount. Will you please sell me your property? And he said, yes. The house was free because it was falling down, and actually nobody had ever owned it, so I was the first to register the house. And that year, I didn't know how old the house was until I had acquired it, and it was just old enough to get a new grant for restoration from the city. So I was able to begin the process of restoring this beautiful house, and in 2015 had the first concert of traditional Korean music and world music. And I have been able to bring many wonderful artists to perform. Before COVID happened, we had the honor of hosting Peter Cater, who has won 2 Grammys so far after being nominated for 13. He's a pianist, and he won in the category of New Age music. His music has some very deep healing power, and to have the piano sitting in the courtyard around this traditional structure and people coming together, lying on the ground, lying under the piano even, it felt like, this is very important. And at that space I could feel this is important for the people who are here, but it's also important for the unseen.
Hear, hear.
There are certainly spirits at the house, maybe the people who had lived there, but we all carry our ancestors as well. And not only spirits, but the energy of relations between countries as well. South Korea is a split nation. Families have been split along the border for political reasons and not certainly reasons of the human heart. But it seems to me that music can be a source of healing these divides. And so with that purpose, I continue to develop the World Music House, Uruk World Music House. During COVID, it really occurred to me, maybe the focus is not the seen audience. It doesn't have to be. Of course, coming together is very beautiful. But maybe we can dedicate to the unseen audience.
Do you have a .com that you're going to alert the audience?
There is not a .com at the moment. There is a Facebook page.
Please give that so they can contact
It
you.
is facebook.com/World Music House.
Say that again.
Facebook.com/World Music House.
Thank you.
When I saw the piano in this space, I felt, this house, even though it's traditional Korean and piano is not a traditional Korean instrument, this house really requires a piano. And I've been blessed to know many amazing pianists in my life. I've studied with several. Terry Riley, I studied with him in India and in the States, and Michael Harrison, dear friend in New York City. So yeah, I started thinking, okay, we need a piano, and there's not space in the house itself for a piano. The traditional houses are very narrow. So I thought, we need an extension. But it can't be traditional. It wouldn't look natural. So it should be a modern structure. But it has to be the best architect in Korea, because this addition cannot take power away from this beautiful traditional Lord's house. So I went searching and I found the best architect in Korea. And I was able to contact him and arrange a dinner. And it turned out, during COVID, he moved from Spain back to Korea and lived in my town, in Chungju, where the house is. So one miracle. And we met, and he said, wait, where is that house? In 2004, when I had the land surveyed for the estimate, he had come back from Spain at that time. And that very day, this architect was there with the survey team. So I felt, this is also not a coincidence. This is very destined to work with this amazing architect. And so I envision the World Music House and the Cosmic Lighthouse, where this extension is a way to communicate with the heavens and bring in the light, and also share our light and intentions for peace.
I want to say want to say something. Obviously, there's a wormhole. And Cybele, intuitively, unbeknownst to herself, fell into it. I have recognized in my life, in retrospect, how many portals I have been responsible for, either acknowledging, causing, or serendipitously being part of. They're everywhere. It is time to change density consciousness, dimensional consciousness, and get into what those of us here certainly intuitively recognize, even if not consciously speak of, group mind. It doesn't mean that we think the same, but that we think. It's very important, because consciousness is it. Now, as we change setup, I will close with two pieces, but what a treat, Cybele, thank you, and congratulations.
Bravo.